Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back today for another video. So, the Banquet for 2025 sounds incredible. It's going to be really exciting. It sounds like just so much better than last year with the milestones, the rank rewards, the content inside of the crystals, just like everything. So, I'm really excited. And, of course, the champions. The champions for this Banquet are definitely the best champions we've ever had for a banquet. You know, last year we had Medusa, Sentinel, Deadpool, you know, pretty good champs. But this year we got Hulkling and Scorpion. You know, you can't beat them. You know, oh my god, just two insane champions finally coming as 7 stars. So I thought it would be fun to just take all 9 banquet champions, the 6 from in the box, and then the 3 others, Punisher included because he's like, you know, the trophy chase for banquets, and then the Realm event milestone champions and Absorbed Man and Kingpin. We're going to take all 9 of those champions and just throw them onto an Asgardian Gala 2025 banquet tier list. Just to kind of rank them and show you guys how I'm feeling about each of these champions going into the event. Of course, things could change once they're actually, you know, available in the contest as a 7-star. Things can change. They can age well. They can also age poorly. So, you know, right now, this is how I see all of these champions. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get into it. So, hold on. Fix that. Okay, there we go. We're going to go ahead and pull this up here. Got our little Christmas Drax along for the ride today. So, these are our tiers. We have 6 tiers. This is how I like to do my tier list, man, because especially when we're talking about champions of this caliber, Hulkling, Scorpion, I want to make it abundantly clear how I feel about these champions, because some champions, you know, are really good, like Kingpin and Hulkling are both really good, but if there's only an S tier, you know, they would both be in the S tier, you know, whereas Hulkling and Kingpin are nowhere near the same champion, and they should not be in the same tier. So that's why I like to have S tier as the 3rd highest tier. Like, this is insane. On normal tier lists, S tier is the highest, so this is very high praise. And anything right below S tier is still a very good ranking. But if you get above S tier, you get to S plus or SS. SS is just absolute top, the pinnacle of the game. S plus is still an incredible ranking. And then C tier is absolute bottom of the barrel. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get into it. Who should we start with? That's bugging me, but whatever. Okay, who should we start with? We were just talking about Kingpin, so I think we should start with him. So, Kingpin is a very interesting champion, man. He's super interesting because, you know, I remember when Kingpin first came out, he was terrible. You know, he was very bad. He eventually got buffed, and it was after his buff when he became like this monster. But before his buff, dude, he used to be so bad. But like Kingpin actually holds a very special place in my heart. He was my favorite champion in the Marvel Contest of Champions arcade game. So, like, you know, with the joystick where you verse someone 1v1, you can, like, collect the cards. Like, Kingpin was my ace in the hole, dude. Anytime I ever used Kingpin on that, I never lost. I fought Kabam one time on it for, like, a $5 wager match. Won that. I fought MSD once on that machine. Bro, Kingpin is the GOAT because all you would do is spam heavies with him, just belly bumping everything. It's just so much fun, and it's so, like, being unstoppable on the arcade game, like, is OP. So, like, I've always liked Kingpin because of that. In the actual, you know, battle realm, though, I've never really been that big of a Kingpin fan personally, but he's definitely started to grow on me more and more. Like, I started to like him kind of towards the end of 6-star lifespan. You know, I think I did max out the 6-star more recently for an upcoming meta, but like when he was in his prime, you know, I never had Kingpin maxed out. But now I feel like he's aged extremely well. And you'll notice that like a lot of the skill champions being released in the contest of 2024 and 2025, none of them can really do what Kingpin does. You know, he is just a shrugging debuff machine. He's so insane. You know, he does it so well, and he just turns it into power. And that makes him, you know, a phenomenal photon counter. So, with all that said, you know, I think Kingpin is in a really good spot for the contest. I think he's absolutely a rank 4 option, without a doubt. And so I would say, when it comes to the tier list, anyone in S tier and higher is like a no-brainer rank 4 option. Like, absolutely. If they're in the A tier, it's like, okay, they're probably, if you like him and, you know, you think it's a good champion, probably worth rank 4. But S tier, it's like, yeah, you can pull that rank 4 trigger, no worries. S plus, like, guaranteed rank 4 with maybe even, this is a champion you want to take to rank 5. And then SS is like, this is like an auto rank 5 option, you know. So it's kind of a good way to look at the tiers. So when it comes to Kingpin, with all that said, I think he's an easy rank 4 option. Easily. I think we're going to put him up actually in S plus. I think that's a really good spot for Kingpin. Like, I don't think he's quite at the absolute top tier. But S plus, I think, is the perfect spot for Wilson Fisk. Alright, that's Kingpin. Since we did Kingpin, maybe we should also do the other Baldy, and that is Absorbing Man. So, Absorbing Man and Kingpin, I believe they're both going to be in the Realm event for the Banquet, because there's going to be a solo event, an Alliance event, and a Realm event. So, there should be a selector in the Realm event to choose once you reach a certain milestone, Absorbing Man or Kingpin. And then, but Kabam did confirm that there will be a way to get both of these champions in the Banquet event. You might have to spend money to make that happen, but it will be possible to get Kingpin and Absorbing Man. So you don't just have to pick. If you really want both these champions, it is possible. And they also said that they will potentially add like another selector, maybe. Like, I think if the realm milestones just keep going, if we keep smashing them, I think they said they're going to keep adding more, and I think potentially another selector. I'm not entirely sure, but that could very well happen. So where does Absorbing Man compare now to Kingpin? And man, Absorbing Man is an absolute monster. He is the champion I actually predicted for Heart of Fire, for the Mystic Champion release in that event. Because, like, even back then, I thought the game was ready for Absorbing Man. I didn't think he was too broken because, you know, he has some skill asks, and he also, you definitely want to get him to a very high signature level. So I thought for those reasons, he would be fairly balanced, or at least for Heart of Fire. But Kabam went a different route, and they ended up releasing Tigra instead. And, you know, I wasn't sure if the game was ready for Tigra at that point, but Tigra is such a niche champion that I think it made sense because of that. Whereas Absorbing Man is still a bit niche, but not nearly as much as Tigra is. And Absorbing Man definitely has a skill cap, but Tigra's skill cap is even higher. And Tigra also wants the Signature Stone investment as well. But I think the main reason, I think 100,000%, I believe this to be true. The reason why Kabam chose Tigra instead of Absorbing Man when it came to Heart of Fire, it's not because the game wasn't ready for Absorbing Man. It's because Absorbing Man is a Dark Phoenix counter. So when they released Dark Phoenix in the Heart of Fire event, they didn't want to release another counter to her inside the event. You know, they wanted Dark Phoenix to be an absolute menace and cook everyone on defense. So why would they release, you know, a 7-star counter? First, they want Dark Phoenix to run wild in the contest for like half a year. I don't think they were planning on closing down the balance program because of her, but they did, because that's how much they don't want to nerf her. And then wait until Banquet, and they're like, oh guys, Absorbing Man, yeah, Dark Phoenix counter, woohoo! And it's like, okay, well, she's already been a menace to the contest. She's already nuked the rebal program. Now we get a counter to her. It's like a little late, a little too late. But hey, I will still absolutely take the Absorbing Man. Honestly, this is probably the character for the record that like increased my skill the most in the game. Like, because before Absorbing Man came out, I was not proficient in light intercepting. I had medium intercepts perfected for a long time. That was my bread and butter. I was very comfortable doing that, and I didn't think that I needed to light intercept because I was already so good at medium intercepting. But then Absorbing Man came out, and it was like kind of trial by fire, do or die. If I want to master the champion, if I want to get the most out of the champion, I need to learn. And so it forced me to learn, and I'm so thankful for that. It has raised my skill as a player like tremendously. It's such a good skill to have. You know, you can always get better, and it's a bad idea to stay in a mindset of, oh, no, I don't need to learn that, I'm already good enough. Like, no, you always want to constantly improve. Taught me a good lesson, and yeah, man, I'll always be thankful to Absorbing Man for that. I think he's still an absolutely insane champion. You know, some of the best immunities in the entire game with his you know, individual forms for energy resistance or physical resistance, whatever you may need. So yeah, man, Absorbing Man, absolute monster. I think he's absolutely an insta rank 4 candidate. But where does he rank on the tier list? So, bare minimum S+. But I think... yeah, I think Absorbing Man deserves SS, dude. Just for the amount of immunities he has. Dude, Absorbing Man, he's just such a monster. I definitely think Absorbing Man is better than Kingpin. So I don't think it would make sense for them to be in the same tier. I think, again, they're both extremely good. Both above the S tier class. But I think Absorbing Man edges Kingpin out a little bit. And just... those immunities are so crazy. It just allows Absorbing Man to do so much. And another thing about Absorbing Man is I like to call him like a potion factory. Because if you are like at 10% health, 20% health, Absorbing Man, like don't even worry about healing. Just, get off one batch of your morph charges and you're going to regen just so much. Like it's based off of missing health, so obviously it works better at low health thresholds. And it's... man, I love Absorbing Man's healing. He's probably like my favorite regen champ that is based off of missing health. It's just so strong. Such a good champion. Just an absolute Swiss Army knife. So many situations. I'm excited to see how he really changes the meta against Dark Phoenix. He can't really do Serpent. I don't know how he's going to do against Deathless Thanos. I'm curious to just try him against, all kinds of matchups. But... yeah, I think Absorbing Man still absolutely deserves to be in the highest tier, and that is SS. So, those are our two specialized Realm event champions. Now, let's start tackling some of the Banquet box champions. So, let's go for Valkyrie up next. So, Valkyrie is an interesting one. I would say probably the champ that one of the champs that I'm just least excited for when it comes to this event. I predicted her for the skill spot. There wasn't another champion in the game that made any logical sense for this position. So I just knew it was going to be Valkyrie. But even in knowing that, I don't really care. Once Rhino is released as a 7-star, I think Valkyrie's stocks are going to go up a decent amount. But right now, without Rhino running rampant as a 7-star, I think that makes her even more irrelevant for the time being. So again, this is a type of champion where a couple months down the line, I could see her ranking going up. But as the contest is right now, I'm not excited about Valkyrie. I'm not going to rank for Valkyrie. I'm not recommending you guys to rank for Valkyrie. It's she's good, but these other champions are insanely good. So I think A tier is where Valkyrie belongs. I don't think she's worth S tier. She has a very powerful playstyle of just hitting into the opponent's block. She's able to bypass a lot of nodes by doing this, which is nice. A nice piece of utility for sure. She's definitely a good champion. It's just these are 9 incredible champions, so it's hard to really stand out. And yeah, like I said, Valkyrie just made sense for this spot because she's not a super overpowered skill champion like Kingpin, like Kate Bishop, So, yeah, that's Valkyrie, man. I can't put her any higher. Again, once Rhino comes out as a 7-star, I could absolutely see her jumping a tier. But right now, just no. Definitely one of the champions that I am bottom 2 that I'm, least excited about when it comes to Banquet. Still wouldn't be mad if I got them. Of course, still want to get them. Take her up to rank 3. But rank 4, nah, I'm good. Kingpin though, yeah, I'm gonna rank 4 Kingpin if I get him. Absolutely. Absorb Man, absolutely. For sure. But Valk, nah. Alright. Let's go ahead and do an easy one up next, and that is Hulkling. So, Hulkling, the Giga Goat. Man, what an insane cosmic champion Hulkling is, bro. When it came to the cosmic spot, again, if it wasn't a rework, there was only 2 possible options for this, and that was Hulkling or Cosmic Ghost Rider. And between those 2 champions, I think overall Hulkling is the more well-rounded champion because he's an attacker and he's a defender. He excels in both of those. So for me, in my eyes, that makes him a better champion overall than Cosmic Ghost Rider. I would say Cosmic Ghost Rider is absolutely the superior attacker, but he's not really doing anything on defense. So I think Hulkling definitely the more well-rounded of the two. And I think it made just a lot more sense for Hulkling to be the option instead of Cosmic Ghost Rider, because Cosmic Ghost Rider is just broken, dude. He is so broken even as a 6-star. He can still keep up, which is ridiculous. Like, just barely. But he's struggling as a 6-star nowadays with, like, rank 4s, and he's going to struggle even more with rank 5s. But if they released CGR as a 7-star, dude, he would just walk through every fight in, like, 20 seconds. It'd be ridiculous. So that's why, if it had to be one of the two, I predicted Hulkling, because Hulkling is just, he's busted, he's strong as hell, but he's slightly less broken than Cosmic Ghost Rider is. You know, with Hulkling, you at least need to hit the opponent and hit their block and build up your power manually to get to the special 2 and get the big damage payoff. With CGR, it's like 5-hit combo, ending in a light, power gain, heavy, boom, special 2, they're dead. It's like, it's so silly. You know, Hulkling, you actually have to hit the opponent a little bit to, you know, build them up and everything. And so a little bit of a skill ask to hit into the opponent's block, get unblockable, drop the special 2, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, man, I truly think Hulkling just easily one of the strongest cosmic champions overall in the game. He's so insane, dude. Like, so simple. So stupidly simple and just so powerful. Like, some champions, they have such a convoluted loop. You have to do this, that, and the other thing to finally get off their rotation, and then you do all this hard work, all this complexity, and the payoff is like nothing. And it's like, and that's why some champions are just mid as hell and no one plays them, because it's like, what's the point? Because then you have a champion like Hulkling where you build a special 2, hit their block, throw it, you get insane damage, you throw the relic, you combo 2 times, and any opponent in Battlegrounds is essentially dead. Like, when you have just such an easy, simple rotation like that, man, it's so broken. And not only is his damage rotation good, again, he's an insane defender, and, you know, he's got incredible immunities, too, on top of everything. He has immunity to poison, to shock, and then with his Excelsior sword, he's immune to Power Drain, Power Steal, Power Burn, reduces the incoming effects of Heal Block. And then when he triggers an immunity, it helps to ramp him. It's insane. He also, just straight up, gains attack rating for each unique buff on him. So, like, in anywhere, if you bring, like, Odin and slap on the pre-fights, that's just additional buffs, additional attack for Hulkling. Any node or opposing champion that applies buffs to you, that's additional attack rating. Like, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. And, you know, if you nullify Hulkling, like, you nullify his indestructible, guess what? He triggers a passive one. Like, it's ridiculous. So much regen as well on defense. And if he hits your block, gets those pierce going, he's just going to destroy you through the block. And now as a 7-star, the block penetration on Hulkling, oh my god, that's going to hurt, dude. Just parrying a 7-star Hulkling is going to really, really hurt. So yeah, dude, I think we all know where Hulkling is going. This is a pretty easy decision. It's top of the tier. No need to even think about it. Like, he transcends every tier for sure. The question is, though, who's better, Absorbing Man or Hulkling? And I think I gotta give it to Hulkling. So let's put him in the front. Absorbing Man number 2. Hey, our tier list is coming along. So yeah, man, Absorbing Man, Hulkling, like, just instantaneous rank 4 options. Like, I already have the resources set aside for these champions to immediately rank 4 them the moment I get them. Going to invest SIG levels into them as well. Hulkling and Absorbing Man are both 2 champions that I'd want to take to SIG 200, for sure. And Kingpin, I don't think I want to take him to SIG 200, but he has a sweet spot SIG where, you know, he starts with a certain amount of his rage debuffs or whatever. So a certain sweet spot I'll get Kingpin to, but probably not 200. But Hulkling and Absorbing Man, definitely champs I want to invest all the way into, and absolutely rank 5 candidates for sure. All right, up next, let's talk about Nimrod. Nimrod is a very interesting one. So, man, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think it's really dumb that, you know, Nimrod, this mutant hunting tech machine from the future, the most like advanced mutant hunting robot ever created. Like, let me read his bio for a second. What does this man's bio say? Nimrod is the ultimate sentinel. Oh no. Constructed in a timeline where mutants have been completely wiped out by the superior, infinitely advancing robotic beings. Upon realization that Nimrod's one directive to exterminate all mutants was no longer possible within his original timeline, this flawless, unstoppable force of destruction jumps to alternate timelines, ridding the multiverse of heinous mutant scourge. Okay, that's insane. After reading that, right? After reading that, why the hell does Nimrod only apply shocks when a champion, some random pumpkin Halloween champion, changes his damage source against mutants specifically to apply plasma on special 2s? Why the hell does some Halloween flaming pumpkin guy get that, and Nimrod here, the ultimate sentinel, the flawless, unstoppable force of destruction, have shocks that, like, half the new mutants are completely immune to? Like, why? It doesn't make any damn sense, dude. Like, this was the opportunity to restore Nimrod. All they had to do was literally, on his special 2 against mutants, he applies plasma instead of shocks. It's literally all they had to do. But no, they didn't do a damn thing to the homie Nimrod, bro. So, pisses me off, dude. It really pisses me off. Especially after reading that bio. That makes me even more mad. They call him like this flawless, perfect mutant hunting machine. And yet, oh, all these mutants are immune to his effects. Like, bruh, what? It's just silly, man. It's just silly. So with all that said, I can't put Nimrod up here, and I can't put him up here. Because he's not relevant against the top tier mutants. You know, he's gonna do nothing against Onslaught. Like, Dust is shock immune. Like, it just pisses me off. So I think this is the best spot for Nimrod. I put him in S tier. I still think Nimrod is a phenomenal champion. Don't get me wrong. I still think he's a great champion. He should just be a lot better than he is, specifically against mutants, because he's this flawless mutant hunting machine from the future. From a timeline where all the mutants are dead. So, yeah. That's Nimrod landing in S tier. I think he is worth rank 4. Not just like an instantaneous, oh yeah, rank 4 immediately. But there's a couple matchups I want to test. I'm very curious to see if he can take Captain Britain. If he can take Captain Britain, well, I think I absolutely will rank 4 him. If he can't do that matchup, I don't know if I will rank 4 him. But if he can, that would be a big matchup for Nimrod to have. Captain Britain is an absolute menace right now. So, yeah, that's Nimrod landing in the S tier. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about Jane Foster next. So Jane Foster is a really weird one. So my testing has been primarily limited to the 6-star version. Andrew the Rough he's the only person in the game right now to have a 7-star Jane Foster. That's who he picked as his Brawl champion. Whereas, you know, I picked Red Guardian. So it's pretty cool. He definitely showed off some pretty interesting gameplay with her as well. She looks good, but I don't know. I'm still not sold from just playing her myself. And, you know, also, again, just shock is definitely not the best damage over time effect to have. Like we were just talking about with Nimrod. So many champions in the game that are immune to shock. We were just talking about Hulkling, a cosmic champion, fully immune to shock. Like, shock is not a good damage over time effect to have in 2025, I would say. At the end of 2025, it's really not the best. But she seems pretty fun. She definitely seems a lot better. Like, if we were talking about Jane before this buff, she would be in B tier or C tier. You know, like, that's how bad she was. Now, with the buff, I think she's certainly better. The question is, of course, how much better? She reduces the potency of Mystic Dispersion. Man, like, every Mystic champion can't benefit from Mystic Dispersion anymore. It's so silly. She's got a cool playstyle. You know, you can throw those heavies off mid-combo, and then when the stagger expires, you can pause the stuff on you, and then you toss them over, get some big damage ticking for a couple seconds. It's not bad, but man, like, I really just wanted Thor Odin's son to get buffed. You know, Jane Foster has already been buffed before. This is her second buff now. And it's like, man, show some other champions some love. You know, show some other champs some love. Spread that buff love. So, I think I'm putting Jane Foster in A tier, man. Down here with Valkyrie. Valkyrie and Jane Foster are the two champions that I'm just by far the least excited about in this event. Just bottom of the barrel for me. When I'm opening up my Banquet box, you know, or Banquet crystals, whatever it is, if it's keys or crystals, I don't know. These are the two champs that are at the bottom of my want list, you know. I'll still absolutely take them and still maybe rank them up, test them out, you know. Could be missing something, could be better than I'm thinking. But just like the other champions, I just want so much more. Even Nimrod, man. I want Nimrod way more than these champs. So, yeah, for me personally, Jane Foster and Valkyrie are the two least exciting champions in that Banquet box. And, you know, they were two of the first three, alongside Nimrod. They were the first three. When it was just those three champions in the Banquet box, like, I was super meh. Like, I'm not really excited right now for any of this. You know, then Scorpion got announced. I'm like, okay, you got me. And then Hulkling got announced too. And I'm like, all right, I'm all in. Bro, I'm getting these champions. I'm maxing them out. And then there's the X23 buff. So let's go ahead and talk about her next. So, you know, I'm a little disappointed with just the choice of X23 being in here, because we voted for this champion for like International Women's Day, and now we're getting her as, and then the Kabam said in the Banquet there's going to be 2 guaranteed reworks, and but one of them is the champion we voted for all that months ago. So kind of feel like we're getting scammed on that, when they could have released X23 for something else and just instead buffed a different mutant champion for the event itself. You know, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is. I really am a fan of X23. I've always liked her. I've always just liked Wolverine. So I was like, oh, a female Wolverine? Okay, cool. I'm in. Like, I'm sold. She's got 2 claws instead of 3. But, you know, she's still crazy and cool and fun. And she always had regen and damage. Now, her regen is nerfed and not as good as it used to be. She's definitely not like a regen primarily champion now. But she is a ton of fun to be playing with the eviscerating stun, just going stupid with those light attacks. She has way more utility in her kit now. She's actually, you know, a relevant mutant champion in the grand scheme of the game. She's going to be a pretty good Battlegrounds attacker. She can take Yelena. She seems really fun. She has Pursuit when punishing specials and when intercepting the opponents. That's again another nice piece of utility. She has resistances to bleed and poison, and her regeneration I don't think can be lowered. So that is, again, nice utility to have. She's got a lot going on. The damage is pretty crazy now. I like her. I do like her. It's just, again, my only real gripe is the regen. And not only that, like, the potency of it was nerfed, but how you trigger it. That's probably my biggest issue with it. It's because you have to knock down the opponent and then stand still for 1.4 seconds, when her whole playstyle is you're trying to be super aggressive and just standing still. And it's such a long time to stand still, especially if your opponent's against the wall. Like, you don't have the opportunity to stand still. They're going to smack you in the face if you try to stand still for over a second. Like, I just wish it was dash back whole block or something like that. Just something more safe. Yeah, I still think she's a great champion. I still definitely want to get her. I have a Mutant 3 to 4 gem that I'm probably going to give to her. So I'm going to go ahead and put X23 in the S tier. And I think I will put her in front of Nimrod. Let's get her to the front. Okay, there we go. Then Nimrod behind. So yeah, I think I put X23 a little bit above Nimrod. Yeah. She can take a lot of skill matchups Unfortunately, she doesn't counter Nick Fury's second life. She does have marked, but Nick Fury is a really special case. So just marked isn't enough to bypass his second life, fortunately. But X-23 is going to be a very good counter to Punisher. So let's go ahead and transition into talking about him now. So the newly buffed Punisher, man, is very, very interesting. Because, you know, like, Punisher is a champion that has existed. I think he's the first ever trophy champion that had been in game and got buffed. You know, like, we had Weapon X, Jessica Jones, but they were never like playable characters before. They were like NPCs in the game. But Punisher has always been in the game. And now he's a buffed trophy champion, which is so weird. And it's really interesting because, like, Punisher is by far the least owned champion on ever like, if you took a survey of every summoner's account, you know, Summoner would be Punisher would be the least owned 6-star champion out of everyone. He's that rare to get. He's so, I don't even have him. I've been playing the game for like 9 years. I don't have this guy as a 6-star. So it's crazy, and because most people don't want to do arena to try to get him. So yeah, his buff has been pretty interesting. He is definitely looking like a dual threat. The problem is, though, like, I don't know how good of a dual threat just yet. It's really tricky to gauge. From my perspective right now, he's seemingly more of a defender. He definitely seems like a good attacker, but he seems a bit more defensive based right now. That could change given more time. He's still like probably the champion I'm least sure about for ranking wise. And there's going to be, you know, 7-star rank 6 versions of this guy running around next year, 3 of them to be precise. He's got the grit and endurance, which is really nice. Plus the indestructible safety nets. I really do like that. He's going to be a pretty good Rhino counter with that grit. He's got a unique play style. And he's going to be a good defender. So, all that said, I'm going to put Punisher up here in the S tier. Yeah. With X-23 and Nimrod. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good ranking for him for now. Like, this could definitely change. I could definitely see Punisher. I think there's absolutely potential for him to go to S+. I don't see him encroaching on SS. Definitely not. But S+, I could absolutely see that. But for now, I think S tier is the safe bet. Alright, guys. And then, you know, we saved the best for last, and that is Scorpion. So, Scorpion, definitely one of the most exciting champions in this Banquet box. He was my science prediction. Again, it's just like no other science champion really made sense if it wasn't the rework to be good enough to be in this box. There just aren't that many 6-star science champions, you know, held back from the 7-star level. Scorpion was really the last one, and he just made so much sense. And he's so good that, like, again, I said, at first, we only had Nimrod, Jane Foster, and Valkyrie. The 3 champions that, like, right now, you know, Valkyrie and Jane are in A tier, lowest on the tier list. And then Nimrod, 1 tier ahead in S tier, which is a good ranking. But still, compared to, you know, like, the top of the tier list and what we want, type of champions we want to see, you know, it just wasn't that hype. But then they announced Scorpion, dude, and everything changed. Everything changed the moment they announced Scorpion. This entire Banquet box just got 10 times better. Just with the presence of this one champion, you know. It just completely changed the way I look at it. And it's just like, oh, I'm in. I need to get Scorpion. I absolutely need to get him. I need to take him to rank 4. Scorpion and Hulkling both, you know, I used to play a lot of more Battlegrounds than I do now, than I have like in the last year, you know. And back in the day, Scorpion and Hulkling were in pretty much every single deck for basically every single meta, and I was always constantly drafting them, always using them on attack, frequently putting them on defense. I just so comfortable with these champions. I'm so excited to just have them back in my deck, my comfort champs, you know. Scorpion can just take so many matchups, and he's a dual threat as well. He can definitely, if you're in a pinch, he can lock things down on defense for sure. And just the best thing about Scorpion is his ability to finish battleground fights at full health, despite getting smacked in the face, taking damage, you know, with his Petrify and siphoning willpower healing, just heal up. And it's so satisfying. I'm very curious to test Scorpion against, you know, new meta defenders and see how he fares against them. One of the big ones I want to test against was Dark Phoenix. I don't think he's going to work for it, but still want to test it. But yeah, and definitely a lot of other matchups too, just to see how he's doing, man. Look at the size of his tail. It's crazy. But yeah, man, Scorpion, easily one of the best champions in this box. So he's undoubtedly going to the top tier. But the question is, where in this top tier does he go? So yeah, I'm really happy with this tier list. But we gotta organize it a little bit. So I think Scorpion is, I'd put him above Absorbing Man. But then Hulkling or Scorpion? Oh, that's a tough question. I think just for how like easy Hulkling is to use, I think I'm gonna, and I do think Hulkling is a slightly better defender. I think they're very comparable as attackers, but I would say Hulkling edges him out slightly as a defender, and he's just so easy to use. I think we're gonna leave Hulkling as number 1, Scorpion number 2, and then Kingpin number 3. So yeah, guys, that is how I rank all the champions in the upcoming Banquet, all 9 of them. I think Hulkling, Scorpion, and Absorbing Man are absolutely the highest top tier champions, the cream of the crop when it comes to the 2025 Banquet. I think all 3 of these champions you guys absolutely want to try to get, take them to rank 4, and whenever rank 5s are available, they're definitely options. I think Scorpion and Hulkling are like top three options in Cosmic and Science respectively for rank 5. I think absolutely, and that's without even seeing how they impact the game yet. I just because I know how good they were as 6 stars, I can just already say that. And I'm hoping that once we see them as 7 stars, they're like even more dominant than they were back in the day. That'd be so cool. I'm just so excited. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for the resurgence of those god tier champions from like the 2022, 2023 peak era days. So then after those 3, we have Kingpin in the S+. You know, a phenomenal champion, but I don't think he's quite on the same level as these others. But he's definitely above X-23, Nimrod, and Punisher. And then for me, in the A tier, which is, you know, these are still very good champions. They're not in like the B, C, D, E, F. They're not like that bad. They're in A tier. Respectable. If like S tier is like God tier, you know, this is like amazing tier. Like these are some really good champions. But me personally, just not that excited about them, and I don't think they're going to have as much of an impact on the meta on the game right now. For right now, again, with Valkyrie, once Rhino is a 7 star, I think her stocks will go up a bit. But, you know, like, neither of these champions are really doing much on defense, whereas, you know, Nimrod and Punisher both are going to be, you know, decent options as defenders. And I do value that quite a bit personally, and I definitely take it into account with these rankings. So you guys, that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for the 2025 Asgardian Gala Banquet. All 9 champions ranked best to worst tier list. That's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you want to support your boy. Let me know what you guys think about the rankings. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What did I get wrong? What would you change on the tier list? And yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Much love. Merry early Christmas. Thank you guys for all the love and support on the holiday season. A lot more content on the way. Consider subscribing, joining the crew if you have not already. A lot of content you're not going to want to miss. Much love, guys. Peace.